Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Who is she? I'm actually ahead on this one. But anyway, we have a huge book unhaul for you today. I actually am going to be separating them into two piles. One is going to Goodwill and one is going to be sold on Pango. So without further ado, let's just get into it. We got a lot of books. All right, so we're going to start with our first stack. First we have Craving by Helen Hart. I bought this on a whim. Something that this unhaul has taught me is that I do not need to buy books on a whim. I need to sit with it for a minute and make sure it's something I really want to read before I buy it. I saw one person talk about this, bought it, and I'm not going to pick it up. So that is our first one to go. Then we have Leech. I got this in my very first book outlet haul. I didn't get to it this past Halloween, and it's just, I'm not going to get to it. I'm not. So we are going to unhaul this. Next up, we have In 5 Years. I got this for sale for like $5 at Books A Million one day, and I'm not going to get to it. I've heard like mixed reviews about it, and I'm just not gravitating towards it. So what is my hair doing? So it's got to go. Next up, we have Lost Boy by Christina Henry. And if you see any of these books, and you think I should give them a try, let me know in the comments because I can be persuaded. But this is the true story of Captain Hook. This does intrigue me quite a bit, but I just don't know if I'm going to gravitate toward it. I just don't. So it's going to go. Next up, we have Endgame by Chloe Walsh. I have tried to start this book multiple times and I could just not get into it. So we're going to unhaul it. Love the Boys of Tommen series by her, but this one, not it for me. Next up, we have some Book of the Month books. So first, I have One Star Romance. I got this back in June last year, and I just don't know. I'm not going to reach for it, so we're going to get rid of it. Then we have Good Material by Dolly Alderton. The more that this is sat on my shelf, I don't think that I'm going to gravitate towards it. So we're going to get rid of it. Then we have Bad Summer People. The more that I've sat with this book, the more that once again, I'm not going to pick it up. So we're going to unhaul it. All right, we have Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I read it. I'm not going to read it again, so we're just going to unhaul it. Then we have The End of Oz and Dorothy Must Die. I bought these years ago, and I read the first one. I'm just not going to continue the series, so we're going to unhaul it. Next up, we have Dinner for Vampires by Anthony Joy Lenz. The only reason why I'm getting rid of this is because I have another copy and it's signed, so I don't need this one. So we're going to be giving it to a new home. Next up, we have All the Little Raindrops by Mia Sheridan. I just bought it on a whim. I'm not going to read it, so we're going to unhaul it. Next up, we have Ghost Camera. Read it. I'm probably never going to pick it up again, so we're going to unhaul it. How many times am I going to say unhaul in this video? All right. Next up, we have The Legacy with the pretty blue sprayed edges. I've read this entire series, but this one, I do not feel like I'm ever going to read this. I mean, this is just like a epic, like, novella of following them after graduation. I'm not going to read it, so we're going to unhaul it. Another impulse purchase was The Lies We Steal by Monty J. If I'm going to pick this series up, I'm just going to do it on Kindle, so I don't need the physical copy, so say it with me. We're going to unhaul it. Then we have This Spells Love. This is my Book of the Month pick from November of 2023. I have not picked it up. I'm probably not going to, so say it with me. We're going to unhaul it. All right, next up, we have another series. I read God Killer. Wasn't my favorite, so I'm not going to continue the series, so we're going to unhaul both of these. And I don't know, did I just tab or did I write? I just tabbed. All right. So these both are going to go on Pango. Next up, we have another series. I read the first 3 books in the series. I'm not going to continue. It is very repetitive. It is not something that I feel like that I'm going to enjoy. So I wrote in the first 2, but we're going to unhaul the last 4. My piles are already getting really big. They're going to fall over. All right, next up, we have Promise Me by Megan Brandy. This pains me. This book was a 2-star. I did not enjoy it as much as Say You Swear, so I'm going to be giving this to a new home. Don't worry, I did not write in it. I just tabbed it. I will take the tabs out, so this will be up on my Pango. Next up, a series that I DNF'd that I'm not going to continue. This is book 2. And I can't remember. Oh, this is the Pawn and the Puppet series by Brandy Elise Zecker. I found this author on TikTok. I read like the first 3 of the books. This is a duplicate. I'm probably not going to continue the series, so I'm just going to get rid of this one. Next up, we have I believe this is Owl Crate. I'm not sure. We have Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. I'm not gravitating towards this anymore. I bought it off Pango simply because it was pretty, but I'm not going to read it. So we're going to put it back on Pango and give it to a good home. Next up, going to the Goodwill pile, is Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. The only reason why I'm unhauling this is because it is so freaking big. It's the big print. I did not realize it was the big print when I ordered it. So I'm going to unhaul this one, and then when I'm ready to read it, I will buy the regular size font one. All right. Another book in the Crooked Sinners trilogy, Riot Rules. I read the first one. I enjoyed it. I don't feel like continuing on, so we're going to get rid of it. Next up, another one. This is book 4 in that series, in the Pawn and the Puppet series. It's Doll and Domination. I think this one actually may be signed. No, but we're going to unhaul it. All right. Next up, The Secret of Southern Girls. It's been sitting on my shelves forever, so we're going to unhaul it. I think this is like a thriller or something like that, but one that pains me to get rid of, but I just don't need it, is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I have the regular edition with the white cover. I don't need 2 copies. I wrote in the white one, so we're going to get rid of this one and give it to a new home, even though it's beautiful. I love the light blue with the black, but we're going to get rid of it. And then we have Bully by Penelope Douglas. I've already read this. I'm not going to read it again, so stay with me. We're going to unhaul it. Next up, we have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The only reason why I am unhauling this is because I don't think they're going to do the rest of the covers like this, and so I don't need one if I'm not going to have like a matching set. So I'm going to give this to a new home. Next up, we have You Like It Darker by Stephen King. I read it. I'm probably never going to read it again, so we're going to get rid of it. Next up, we have Salem's Lot by Stephen King. This is a duplicate. I want to keep the paperback copy, so I'm going to be posting this on my Pango and giving it to a new home. All right, next up, we have Carrie Soto is Back. I'm just not gravitating toward this. I've liked some of her books, but she's not one of my favorite authors, so we're going to unhaul it. For the purpose of keeping my mental health sane, I am unhauling Pack Up the Moon, just because, I don't know, when books talk about like cancer and things like that, it triggers me, so we're going to unhaul it. Next up, we are going to unhaul The Covenant and the Cursed. One of them has sprayed edges, one doesn't. Bugs me to death. But I started it. I couldn't get into it, so we're just gonna unhaul it. These stacks are getting really big. I feel like they're going to fall over. The last 5 books that we're going to unhaul is Lola and the Millionaires. I saw that there's like there are part 1 and part 2 in this book. And I saw an omnibus that someone had, so I'm going to unhaul this one and get the omnibus. Next up, don't hate me. I just did not love the first one. I don't think that cozy fantasy like this is for me. However, I did read House in the Cerulean Sea, which I think is a cozy fantasy, and I enjoyed that one, so I don't know. Not for me. Maybe it will go to a good home. Next up, we have A Sorcery of Thorns. I've had this forever. I have seen a lot of people reading this, and they just didn't enjoy it, so we're going to unhaul it. Next up, The Wasteland. I've already read this. I don't need a physical copy, so we're going to unhaul it. And lastly, No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. I'm probably never going to pick it up, so we're just going to hope it goes to a good home of somebody who will enjoy it. So we're going to unhaul this. That was almost bad. How many books did we just unhaul? 44 books. We unhauled 44 books. That's a good amount. So I'm going to get these posted on Pango. Some of these are going to go to Goodwill. But thank you so much for watching. If you have not already, don't forget to subscribe. Please like this video. Join my community. It would make my day. Yeah. This video may have gone too fast through all those books. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.